As we are going to be having in the top left-hand side, the red Terran player from Team Liquid. This is Clem. Up against the blue Protoss in the bottom right-hand corner. It is SKillous. Game one of this best of three. I'm trying to think what happened in SKillous Clem last week. I remember the versus Hero Marine games quite well. Like, he kind of died quickly game one, but game two he played really well. Game three, yeah, game two was the sick game on 2K Atmospheres, but SKillous just played like a really super awesome game, start to finish. What happened in game three? I can't remember game three as well, but I really can't remember what happened between Clem and SKillous. Apart from the fact it was very exciting because SKillous was then into the finals, and we were guaranteed a new winner of the ESL Opne Cup Europe, which doesn't always happen. Yeah, can't quite recall Clem SKillous. I don't think it was anything like super early that Clem just died to, right? You guys remember? I feel like terrible for not remembering this. This was literally last week. Alright, well, just gonna be seeing the probe running around. SCV gonna chase. The probe here is gonna hide in the corner and just have a little bit of a good time with that, as we do have our SCV scouting up in towards the main, trying to see just what's currently going on. Just gonna be having our Nexus about halfway done. The probe gonna go nibble in the SCV, and that SCV is gonna get a little low on HP. Pulls back around. A couple Marines will come down this ramp looking to get the probe. Gets in range, and that's a dead probe. So probe is gone. I don't know why I laughed so evilly at that, but yeah, probe gets killed off right there. And just going to be seeing a couple Marines continue to gather together. This Adept is going to be moving to the upper left as well. And yeah, just more and more Marines joining on up, ready to fight this Adept off. Do you remember SKillous last week having a lot of success with an early Adept, Zealot, Stalker, just early units in general were doing a lot for him? As we do have the factory's going to swap on over to the reactor here, so ready to get some aggressive units out here, Clem. With a reactor on the factory, I'm thinking Hellions again, although he doesn't actually have the minerals for Hellions, although he is going to be Hellions. Never mind. So it is going to be Hellions here, and the Adept Shade will see the factory swapped onto the reactor, so that's obviously good information. That's really good to know about right from the start. Those Hellions are going to go rallying out onto the map. Marines actually push quite far across the map as well. They were already out in the center chasing down that Adept, really making sure it went home. Oh wow, we're going to build a Twilight in the wall. I think that's okay though, because it's Hellions. If this was another kind of push, that Twilight would be very exposed. But because it's not going to be a tank push or anything, I think that's going to be fine. I don't think that's really going to matter. And the couple of Hellions, just going to get there, pick that probe off, and that's going to be a nice little shutdown as well. So just getting rid of that already. And the Hellions going to go, just kind of say, okay, cool. Third was maybe trying to set up, but just going to back it up for a moment. We're going to turn this into a mine drop now. All mines in that medevac, so that's going to be the real point of trying to deal some damage. That's going to be the forward of mine drop. Let's see what will go down. Let's drop number one on the ramp. I like that because that really zones out where you can move your units to as a response to this. So you have to give something up to then be able to move your units from the high ground to low ground. Oh my god, the Hellions are going to hit the probes from across the wall! 7 workers die in total. We save 1 mine. Medevac's still alive. And, oh, there was one more Widow mine still there as well. So it's 8 probes killed. Wow. The Hellions coming in as the probes pulled to the wall off was actually pretty cool. So that was really neat. That was really sick, actually. Okay, right. Okay, that was actually very fun. I liked it. Good effort, Clem. Really found a cool way to deal some damage that way. It kind of looked like the defense was just going to be a little bit too good, right? We do have the gateways continuing on through 4 gates in production, charge, +1 armor. Is that what Skills was playing last week as well? Just very heavy gateway counts and just solid Stalker? I do believe so, and it seems very familiar. Don't drop the Temple Archives down as well. And just going to be seeing our Stalkers are going to sit out to defend the 3rd base. You've got to be just careful of that one Widow Mine that's still remaining. That's doing a great job for Clem, because it's actually making sure these Stalkers just don't go onto the map and try and pick units off with their blink and stuff. So, really nice to already basically be slowing down that aspect of what SKillous would like to be doing just by having that medevac still alive with 1 mine inside, just between the natural and the 3rd base. Extra few units just warping in. Stalkers coming through, a few Marines moving forward. I'm just going to see 1 Marine going down. Stalkers able to get rid of a couple of Marines, and now this tank will siege up behind the bushes. You can see that Stalker. Didn't quite go down just yet. Maybe seeing the couple of Widow Mines getting set up. So a couple of Widow Mines get set up. Kaboom, kaboom. Mines got blown off. It's going to be seeing the Zealots going down pretty quickly. And the tank is just going to put some nice damage out repeatedly, but obviously right now you're kind of firing into a... You're kind of firing into a super battery, so anything you're doing is kind of being undone almost immediately afterwards, so... Not really all that crazy just yet. That's going to be seeing Clem. It's going to relocate and go a different direction, and SKillous has some counterattacking Zealots ready to go. That's one of the things he was doing great last week. It's all coming back to me now as the game's playing out. Oh, there's the medevac, by the way, over here. Trying to find a way in, but hasn't dropped yet. Clem's going to come up from the left-hand side, and SKillous, he sees it with the Observer, so he's got to know roughly that he wants to be setting up against this. Bioforce is going to pick off that gateway. Going to be seeing a few probes going down still. A few SCVs going down, sorry, across the map, so the Zealots are dealing good damage. There's a group of bio units that are coming in to try and deal with that as the Viking is shooting at the Prism. Prism, for now, is going to get away alive. Yes. It's going to stop. It's going to die. Okay, so 6 SCVs died. Now Clem is honestly just looking to break through on the other side of the map. A 40 army supply lead for Clem is obviously pretty nutty. That's a hell of a lot of army, to put it simply. So, yeah. This Widow Mine drop is still not gone. I feel like Clem just F2'd a little bit there. He's going to stim back into the natural, get rid of a battery. He's very heavily damaged on this Bioforce. Overstimmed, you could call it. Just being somewhat cautious. Doesn't have much splash damage to back him up right now. And could really do with these 2 new medevacs to come and just heal up this army. Because, again, it is freaking hurting at the moment. In the orange and yellow, just catching fire. He needs to just get a bit of healing on it, bring it back to green, bring it back to being healthy. Just stim to gain. I mean, Clem is very trigger happy on the stim at the moment because that stim doesn't really help initiate anything. Maybe he thought his opponent was about to fight, but it was so early, I feel like he could have waited a little while at least. Zealots came in for the flank, but man, the Widow Mines did a good job. That's a beautiful force field, traps a lot of the bio. And for the moment, SKillous continues to hang on in there. He's not going to lose out on this just yet. This continues through. And SKillous is going to continue holding Clem at bay for the moment. Comes another few Zealots that are going to come charging forward, and that tank is going to be taking some additional damage as well. Bioforce escapes out of there. Now we're going to re-engage back in, as we do have a Bioforce on the right side. Going to go after that next, as Widow Mines will charge through. Bio going to get rid of one of the Archons. Now the medevacs lift off, away they move. Just going to see our Bio Army coming back in once again here. So, I mean, just all over the place is Clem. However, I mean, SKillous has definitely been stabilizing from what this was initially looking like. It was obviously looking horrible for him at first. And maybe even game-ending. Now I would say it's playable for SKillous. I wouldn't say it's super over. I mean, then again, I just looked at the SCV count. It's like, oh, 63 SCVs to 44 probes. Yeah, that part obviously is not very good. It's just looking at overall. I was actually mostly focused on the army supplies. Like, well, closer than it was. But yeah, obviously the worker count says very differently. And workers are pretty important because workers are what allows you to keep that army supply going. A minute or two from now, Clem is really going to have just a crap ton of units and very well teched up units as well, right? The ability to be building Ghost right now. He's going to be getting that armory and second engineering bay. So, I mean, look at the production tabs, right? They tell the story here. SKillous, 5 Templars, basically building whatever he can right now. Clem investing in the future, and that's why SKillous probably knows he has to go sooner rather than later. And that's exactly what he's trying to do at the moment, but it just isn't quite going to happen, I don't think. Both these Archons at the front going to go down pretty quickly. So they will fall, and these Zards are going to charge through. The Bioforce will fight against those pretty nicely. Kaboom, kaboom, Widowmine's connecting great, and this is just going to be that Bio Army pushing in. GG from SKillous, and Clem takes game 1 of this best of 3. Took a little bit of effort to finish up, but got the job done. Go! Top right-hand side, our Red Terran player. Team. Liquids. Clem up 1 in this best of 3. Taking on the bottom left. Blue Protoss. It is SKillous. Well, like I say, I really felt like SKillous did a decent job hanging on in for a while, but Clem, I love the moves with the Widow Mines and then the Hellions across the wall. That was cute. Felt like the first push was becoming difficult to deal with right from the very get-go. It was. And definitely felt like straight away SKillous was kind of just trailing, and Clem just, I mean, he had some great Widow Mine shots as well. Consistently hitting good clumps of Zealots, softening them up, just making the continued engagements that much easier to maintain. Just well handled across the board from Clem. As a probe comes in, nibbles up on that SCV. And the other SCV comes around to nibble up on that probe. Bit of back and forth right there. Creeper up again. SCV chases the probe away. And just going to be seeing our cyber core about halfway done as well. As there is our orbital command coming through. CC coming up. All of that coming down right now. Adapt, warp gate, all that continues up as well at the moment. As you can see, our orbital commands are morphing and simulators are coming through. Everything's just comfortable right now, guys. Here on 2000 Atmospheres, what can we expect out of a little bit of PvP? Well, PvP to PvT. I mean, does SKillous need to change much up? Perhaps. And I think SKillous, well, straight away just going to drop a Twilight Council down. So just going to show us Blink again, most likely. I don't think he needs to change stuff up dramatically, but obviously it's nice for him here if he's able to just come in and do a little bit of, you know, not play the exact same style, maybe not play like super gate heavy as the follow-up, maybe play into like faster Colossus this time. Clem's just going to play 3CC into extra rack, so goes from being aggressive in that last game, just much more macro focused immediately here in game number 2. So Clem really switching it up, doing different things here already. And we'll see if SKillous can identify this and maybe then take advantage of it. That's going to be the big question mark right now. Is that possible? Or is it not? It's a great question. But coming through and ends up pushed away. As the Adept negotiating forward to try and pick up some information as well. Marines trying to fight that back. And SKillous, how many gates are we going up to? Just the 2 for now. Obviously, Robot stars. This shouldn't be aggressive, right? It shouldn't be like a ton of Stalkers. This should be just an attempt of a 3rd base and then playing from there. That is going to be a Reaper, which wants to just keep an eye on things and is doing alright at it. So you have the orbital command in the corner there from Clem going to come on through. This factory going to be finishing up momentarily as well, so going to get into a couple of racks, that factory, some marines, factory production. I'm pretty good across the board in that regard, as we do see the Reaper coming out through the bottom side. Reaper sits on the watchtower there, as we actually have the pylon in the corner going to come on up. Obviously, SKillous wants any kind of prior warning to drops in his main base ASAP. Yeah, obviously, Clem's just not being aggressive because he's been playing 3cc, so he's just sitting back, and it's not like SKillous is being like overly cautious or overly defensive, but yeah, Clem's pretty happy to just say, cool, my 3cc is up, my economy is pumping, I don't need to focus on doing too much right away. He's just able to have a very good time with it so far. Stalker's going to go chasing after that Reaper. Doesn't really find much success. There's not really anything happening there, as we do see the Nexus coming through. Again, +1 attack, charge already building. There's a few Stalkers now just making their way through to the top as well, just trying to see if there's something else they can aid in the near future. Fighting the Stalkers a little bit. It's a little bit of back and forth there. Stalkers coming through, and the Marauders taking some shots. Marauders taking a lot of shots. You get rid of those Marauders, obviously you power up a lot against the continued harass here, because then the Bioforce is just not as powerful against Stalkers, and that's a lot of what you're building early. The Marauders are kind of a little bit chunkier and more expensive to be replacing, so they're good targets. You know, you're missing a Marine or two, it's like, whatever. You miss a couple of your Marauders, it's much more noticeable in the smaller armies, no doubt about it. Robobait is the final choice here from SKillous, as Charge is finishing up as well, so it is going to be kind of Zealot Stalker heavy for a while, but isn't waiting too long to then look toward that Robobait, Colossus, and all of that goodness, so maybe starting to move it there. ASAP, let's just see the battery finishing. A couple of additional Stalkers are warping in, and these Stalkers, for a moment or two, are just coming out that left-hand side. Well, Stalker blinked down, just like, no, Reaper, you don't go here. Go back the other way. It's a little grenade and some probes getting blasted. The Stalker comes through, is able to grab Mr. Reaper, so Reaper goes down. And the Forge +1 attack is continuing up as well. Extended Thermal Lens still coming in. It's obviously also of importance. Bio Army is really trying to get down the map, but SKillous is doing a great job of slowing it down. He's being a hindrance at the moment. So just stepping up there with his main force and being like, nope, nope, no, 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 no. You don't get to fight, you don't get to push, slow it down, borrow some mines. You know, respect me, respect what what I've got over here. So yeah, just playing that nicely as the Zealot Stalker comes back to the right. We do see the Bio going to come through the middle. That's going to begin aiming. Maybe down onto that force of SKillous. Not sure if you want to force a fight. There are some Zealots making their way across for the counterattack. With the Colossus up, you imagine it's maybe a bit too difficult. If you can cancel a fourth or so, that seems realistic. That seems doable. Anything beyond that maybe seems a little bit too hopeful. The Widow Mines? Oh, somehow get burrowed and only one went down while burrowing, so not that bad. The Zealots across the map. Looks like Clem had found them, but actually then lets them kind of live in the top side, so a couple may be able to make it to a mineral line at some stage. Even still. Force will let the medevacs be back over to the right. And it's going to be seen now. So that's Stalkers, Colossus all continuing up with the left. A bunker on the way down. And yeah, just game, I guess, to kind of settle a little bit then. Obviously, we're going to get to 4 bases versus 4 bases. And I get to see a proper little macro game between these two. Not one where someone's just kind of been, ahead from the start or anything. No, this one's going to be a little bit more concrete for sure, so let's Quite exciting to see. More of this army at the left is going to be coming through and seeing what I can get up to. It's just going to be having the fire force of Clem back around to the right. Start aiming for these rocks now. Clear those out and open up a pathway through the middle. I mean, look at SKillous. I mean, both of them know it's going late game. Shadow Stride's on the way, second Robo. We got Ghosts and Vikings from Clem, extra starports. They both know where this is going. They both know neither of them are really gonna, kill each other in the next moment or two. So they're both setting up for everything that makes the rest of this game just so much better for them. This makes the rest of this game so much more exciting, so much more potential. There's already some DTs into Clem's mineral line, and 4, 5, 6, 7 workers go down already. An EMP provides the detection, and actually the DTs are warped in there. No Shadow Stride yet, so the Ghosts are able to clean out the 12 workers. I mean, 3 DTs are expensive, don't get me wrong, but 12 workers is pretty nice as well, slowing that Clem economy down and just going to force them to keep rebuilding SCVs basically throughout. Let's find his way onto the 4th base, and SKillous is going to make a move to try and come down a ramp to fight that, obviously. Vikings playing the high ground there quite nicely. Clem has to split versus those disruptors. Vikings got 1 Colossus quickly. Takes a while to get number 2, but does deliver now, and it's just not enough Stalkers, I think, to get rid of the Vikings quickly enough. The ground army of Clem actually kind of falls apart more quickly than I expected. I thought it was going to be healthier for longer. So this was a great fight from Clem. Those Vikings really found the great position to be in, right? Just the right side, that little high ground. Getting rid of 1 Colossus before it does any damage at all. And then the other Colossus was so scared, obviously the rest of it just continues and takes a while. But my shot hits a Zealot coming through, and Zealot is going to pick up a Marine. Marine will go down, just going to be seeing extra Disruptors coming through, a couple of Liberators coming up. That Ghost about to finish producing, and the +2 ship weapons from Clem, sorry. Coming up right now as well. Bioforce still out to the far left. Has a Disruptor shot that comes in. Doesn't quite land, and the Bio-Army is going to take a few steps back again. Now it's DT on the right side, going to clean up and going to try and push over to the far right as well. See just what might be able to happen up here. More of this army from Clem through the center of the map. Just going to be seeing a little stim across to the right-hand side. The Zealots, the DTs, just hanging out there. Watchtower evacuated. If Clem could catch that group of Zealot DT, it's just a lot of supply that would go down very quickly, right? So, could create problems almost straight away. Coming through, Zealots get chased out. I'm just going to be seeing our Bioforce trying to figure out where he wants to engage. I mean, Clem's just building up CCs behind this. Obviously, any fight, you've got to be super careful. Those Disruptors are going to force you back basically repeatedly. That's how Disruptors work, but you can't back away when the Zealots have you flanked. The MPs came down. We morphed the Archons to save the DTs. Clem actually doesn't like this fight. He's going to try and get away from it. He boosts the medevacs. I mean, kiting backwards, it turns out okay. It looked initially like he was going to try and lift up and leave, but yeah, kiting back was actually just fine on its own. As the Stalkers come in, they actually get rid of a Liberator straight away. Nice to get rid of that. Just going to be seeing everything still gathered over on that ramp. Gets a cancel on the CC. There's a little attack top left side. I'm sure we'll look at it in a moment or so, but let's see what happens here, because Clem's got to figure this out. Those units initially top left ran past the first base, going to run by into the next. Clem is setting up a massive potential surround here as he's dodging with Ghost to try and do this. I mean, It's so awkward because he's got to push through choke points to be able to get onto this position. There's enough disruptors to go every which way. I mean, if SKillous loses everything, then that's bad, but is he going to lose everything? I mean, he's still got to try and find a way out of this properly. These Archons don't have much HP left on them. The Vikings have landed as well. As the Archons go down, the Disruptors are stuck in a corner, and Clem should be able to kill almost everything. He has to lift up there for a moment. Now he's going to land back down and obviously finally finish killing this off. Oh, Clem lost so much because he's lost 40 SCVs during this as well. I know we haven't looked, but I mentioned these DTs and these Zealots and stuff. They are just everywhere, so Clem has lost a tremendous amount of economy during this fight. He does have one additional scan there to chase, and he just gets one of the 3 DTs that blinked away. Wow. 41 SCVs. If it wasn't for the counterattack, SKillous might have come out of this worse for wear. And is he still in trouble? 2 Colossi on the map? No, I don't think so. I think with some amount of splash damage still available to him, I think SKillous is okay from a counterattack right away, although the libs could cause issues. I'm just going to see the Colossi lift the Vikings back up in the sky. SKillous is even making a Void Ray. He's like, anything I can make right now, just get as much up as possible. Well, Liberator should make this a fight you don't really want to be taking, but SKillous is just going to dive in with the Blink to get rid of the libs. Vikings are getting then a chance to get rid of the Colossi, because obviously they just sit there. The Stalkers are fighting libs, so the Vikings just get to do as they wish. They're not being shot down, but yeah, this was good enough from SKillous. It was a brave play. It was definitely one you had to be kind of sure about, because it could go very wrong very quickly if you weren't convinced. Yeah, it does work out this time around. SKillous, man. His PvT looks really freaking good lately, like really good. And if he keeps playing like this, he's actually going to be, I mean, he is on his way to being like a top dog in the EU scene. I know SKillous has been very good for a while, but like lately, he is freaking delivering. Like absolutely delivering. At this point, Clem's obviously in some trouble. And it looks as though SKillous is likely going to be able to make this a push through to victory. Army coming across the far right-hand side. A couple Liberators will be sieging up. Focus coming through, get turned around pretty much straight away. Zealot's going to start charging in at those rocks. A couple of ghosts sniping away already. A little bit of bio will stem forward. Big EMP lands on those Stalkers as well. Vikings taking shots. Libs will siege up once again. And these Libs are going to re-engage through. And, well, EMPs continue to go down. Zealots keep on charging forward. They really keep on charging forward. It's enough from SKillous, and he is going to knock this quarterfinal matchup into a game number 3. And, yeah, like I say, this bottom side of the bracket is deadly today. It would be funny, again, like I say, if SKillous wins this, he potentially plays Hero Marine. It's just the opposite way around of how he did things last week on the way to his finals, which he ended up winning. As Zealot, Stalkers, Colossi continue to fight, these Vikings are doing what they can. Clem will desperately try to survive, but there's only so much he can really do here. I mean, he's got so little on the ground. His SCV count is once again being decimated. He barely built it back up from what had been lost before, but it's going even further down than it was the last time we saw and talked about DTs killing the entire Mineral Lines. SKillous takes the game. It's 1-1. We're going to all 3 maps. The Terran player is going to be Team Liquid's Clem. It is 1-1 in this best of 3. So right, our blue Protoss player is SKillous. Yeah, the DTs were crazy. I was just following someone else's camera, and they never showed it. But I mean, we did mention it happening, right? I said there's something coming in on that top left. And obviously, you saw the worker kills going down. But I mean, how could you look away from that fight? Because it was obviously pretty intense, to be fair. On that bottom right side, where Clem was trying to surround the force. If Clem doesn't lose 40 SCVs there, if he only loses like 15, 20 maybe even, just 20 more workers going into that position, I really feel like he's actually going to be okay. having cleaned up all the disruptors, it's just losing that many SCVs is so difficult to recover from. So difficult to recover from. Yo, JT Pero, thank you again for that 24-month, 2-year resub, man. Ding, 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 dong, dong, dong. The bells are ringing. Thank you so much for the support. I really appreciate it. Hey, what's up, boys? Zach, how you doing? Hope you're good. Can't wait to see more of you in DreamHack. Will I cast more as well? I will be a host this week. This week I am hosting a day and I'm casting a day. And then next week I cast one day and I host one day as well. But yeah, hope you're doing well as well, mate. Thanks for asking, and oh, nice to see you too, buddy. Yeah, DreamHack's been fun so far. I was I hosted a crap ton in week 1, but like I said, I'll cast a day in week 2 and a day in week 3, basically. I was meant to cast 2 days this week, but I had to give up one of my days because I'm away at the weekend. So yeah, being away at the weekend obviously means that I had to give up my Saturday of work. Am I enjoying the upsets in DreamHack? Yeah, man, I actually think it's really cool just seeing how fun Europe is. Like, Europe is just such a fun region. I know in the end we might end up with, like, Serral, Clem, Reno at the top, but, like, seeing people being competitive in the groups and the groups not just going the way people think it is. European StarCraft 2 is really freaking good, right? It's just so much fun. So yeah, DreamHack was great week 1. It's kind of sad that I was hosting so many of the cool games, to be honest. It was a little bit of a shame. But, all good. All good. It's going to be seeing this game develop. Obviously, we'll probably talk a bit about Hardwire, shouldn't we? It's going to be Phoenix opening from SKillous. We've not seen Phoenix yet. He obviously opened Blink twice. So this is his attempt to switch it up this time. Clem not going to play overly economical. Oh my god, I can't talk. He's not going to be playing overly eco-friendly early on, no 3cc or anything. Just going to be playing the 2 Hellion 4 Mudamine again. So kind of a throwback to that previous game against, it wasn't against SKillous, right? It was in the round before against Trigger. Or was it? It wasn't the first game where he actually got the Widowmines. Yeah, it was in the first game against SKillous. I'm getting all the games tonight mixed up. Jeez, my brain's just like, ugh, all of a sudden. Twitch chat for literally like 1 minute and my brain's just like, what? What's going on? I can't talk anymore. God damn it. So yeah, sorry. Redwine's actually going to sit in the medevac or sit on the ground in the medevac on that left side. He actually does have 4 more, so it's a lot of mines early. 8 mines total early in the game. That's a lot. And if he actually drops with all of these at the same time, oh, this Phoenix is going to find the medevac, but there is 1 mine there. And Clem is going to load up that one. And was there not another? Oh, it is. It's still there as well. SKillous is not going to fly into it, though. Yep, it's absolutely still there, so that's cool to see. Now I'm going to be seeing the medevac. Actually, just going to leave both the mines on that left side, just in different places, try and catch other units further down the line. Here comes the mine drop into the main base. So in we go. Drop is a-coming. Obviously, there's 1 more Widow mine still left remaining in that medevac, which unloads now. Phoenix does lift that. And that is going to be 4 kills for 4 mines in the medevac, so pretty much what you would be liking to see as a bare minimum as Clem. Good cleanup from SKillous. And Clem now just walking 2 mines into the left-hand side base. He didn't bring the medevac forward or anything. So that's just going to be a little bit of switching targets for as long as possible. 2 more kills. And that's going to be cleaned up. Doesn't even have to use the Phoenix energy as ground units arrive to get the shutdown. So, yeah, okay for Clem. 6 mines, 6 kills. Does he still have 2 more? Yeah, he's actually still got 4 mines, which I assume are back home helping to defend. It's okay damage from Clem. Obviously, like, it's not super crazy good. It's not, like, winning the game good. It's a trade out. Like I say, it's kind of bare minimum that you're really wanting. You know, anything less than that would have been very good for SKillous. Anything more than that would have started to be good for Clem, right? This is like the middle ground of, yeah, okay, 1 probe per mine. Very affordable, very allowable. Good thing for SKillous is he shut down one of the 2 medevacs that was on the map. And that's obviously really nice as well, because it just means less medevacs. To then aid the Bioforce later, so maybe because that one medevac died, I slightly favor SKillous on that early trade, but yeah, it really is kind of pretty even across the board. Not really complaining all too much. Not eco-friendly. Did you stop recycling? I just don't even know what happened, man. My words just wouldn't come out. I couldn't think of what I wanted to say, and I was just so stuck, so I just went for something that probably made even less sense, but at least it was said. Do I prefer hosting or casting? I really like hosting because I think hosting days are a little easier, to be honest. The casting days can be very long for DreamHack. It's very difficult to stay like on top of your game all that time. So I do like hosting in that regard. I feel like the days are just a bit easier. I like hosting, and I only say that is because I've got a lot of DreamHack days in a row. So this week when I do 1 hosting day and 1 casting day, and that's my week for DreamHack, that's actually fine. Then I prefer casting. But because I did like 5 days in a row, and 4 of them were hosting and 1 was casting, I much preferred that 4 were hosting. I would have died if I had to cast like 5 days in a row of DreamHack. It's just long days. Long days, you gotta be kind of professional and on point all the way throughout. You know, they're not super long, but it's just no breaks, right? I've said this in the past, but you know, when I'm streaming, say I'm streaming today for 5 hours. There's been games today where we just get to stop and chill out. I talk with chat and stuff. It's not super serious all the time. I don't have to be paying full attention. Yeah, some people can scream at me, well, you're not talking about the game. But the real talk is, I think, is that being able to like chill out and talk about other things, it gives you a break, you know, and then you can turn it on a little bit for the better series and the better matches. It's just unrealistic, I think, to cast as many games as we do in DreamHack at a super high level. It's very tough. 'Cause, I mean, you get literally like a 3-minute break, and then you literally, the panel, you're the desk for like 5 or 6 minutes, then you get a 6-minute break, or other way around. So you get a 9-minute break for every series. So you get a 9-minute break, but it's split into like 2 parts. So it's not even like you can just go BRB for like 9 minutes. You get to go BRB for 6 minutes max, all day. All day. That's kind of crazy, no? So yeah. I like hosting. I actually like hosting as well because it gives my voice a rest. Obviously, I should sit here and shout at computer screens all day already. So I like being able to rest my voice a bit because I don't have to talk all the time. But I do like casting. Don't get me, like, I would be very upset if I was only ever hosting. I just like the fact that I get to mix in some hosting because it's, like I said, it just means that when I do cast a long day, it's the one day I can really put a, you know, I don't have to do the super hard stuff every single day repeatedly, I guess. Does that make sense? Hope so. Clem's pushing. 4 SCVs went down. Wouldn't mind shot hit some zealots at the frontier, so that's going to be hurting. As this bio army trying to come forward, is going to pop a stim now. Pulls back. The force field's kind of stopping SKillous' army getting through. 2-2 against about to be a +2 attack upgrade, at least from SKillous, so that'll be done in a moment here. Just waiting for that to finish up. 10 SCVs, 11 SCVs going down as Clem is taking damage back at home. Widow mines are going crazy over here, by the way. There's just a minefield that SKillous has kept on moving through. Clem gets the base in the end, and Widow mines are still hitting Colossi. It's not actually, like, past these few Zealots, it's a very weak army. Like, there's not a lot of support once those Zealots are down, but Clem just doesn't have that much left over either. And Clem has a pretty reasonable army supply lead coming out of this. Worker counts are even. And, obviously, killing SKillous' 4th base was a pretty big W, because that's a pretty hefty rebuild. As again, just these Widow mines just all over the place. Gonna connect on a Phoenix again, soften those up a little bit. It's gonna be seeing the units gathering up on the left hand side and just getting ready to push on forward. +3 attack, +1 armor on the way from SKillous, and this Bioforce will be coming through. SCVs are going down again, and just going to be having the Vikings there, pushing those Phoenix back away, so Did a pretty good job of that as well. Game settles down for a little bit. Players will go back to just a rebuild. Like I say, Clem's looking really good economy-wise. But SKillous is definitely within reach. I'd say Clem has a slight lead at this point just because he has got that extra few workers and is able to rebuild nice and easily. He's got his few ghosts up now as well. His Viking count's starting to come together. I like it a lot more for Clem when he gets to like 10 Vikings. Right now he only has 4 against 4 Colossi. When he gets to like 8, 10, actually, just like this round of Vikings finishing up even, it just starts to feel so much better for him, you know? Just going to be seeing the Phoenix coming through and just going to be seeing the SCVs are again dying off to the upper left-hand side, so it's just a few Zealots that Clem is dealing with, but that opens the door for SKillous to come to the bottom side. Clem has a drop, it's just nowhere near as successful as the Zealot run by. Well, SKillous didn't do much on the 4th base. Clem gets back over there and time to defend against it pretty nicely. As we are going to engage through, EMP starts, and that's going to mean the Vikings could probably get a Colossus. They're going to get rid of some of the Phoenix initially. Now chasing, the Colossus will just die to the Vikings, and oh god, it's a horrible fight from SKillous. I feel like SKillous is just missing so much of his army. Obviously, he's got a bunch of units defending over here, as he now has lost 7 pros to this drop. And I assume he was maybe warping in to go run by somewhere else, but that fight just wasn't it. The EMPs he ate were huge. And yeah, EMPs like that are going to really set the tone as you do see everything else just kind of running through. And, well, Clem's going to get rid of this 4th base again, and SKillous is not really going to have much to say about it. I mean, what's he even got on the map? A Disruptor? Yeah, he's just now popped out a 2nd Disruptor moments ago. Clem steps forward for number 1, kills it before it connects, and now it's a Zealot Stalker 1 Disruptor army again. As the EMP comes down, SKillous won't stay in this. GG is called. Clem 2-1 and goes to the semi-finals against Hero Marine. So it is a Clem Big Gabe round of 4 matchup today. That's coming